Good afternoon, Keith, or everybody. Keith here again. Told you I'd be popping back on to explain about the codes and how to read them. So first I'll let everybody know I hope you're having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. And we'll get started with codes. Everybody has this problem with codes. I just had a incident yesterday where a fellow man in this freedom fight tried saying he couldn't find a certain code and therefore it wasn't true. Tried to imply that somebody wasn't speaking the truth and I had to correct him. And one of the problems that I realized in a lot of people's research is we're not able to go through these mass amounts of codes and find things. And that's because we don't know how the codes are constructed. And so if you look in the text of the post here, you'll see that first we have titles. Titles of each and every code in the federal code, as well as your state codes. They're going to be set up different. Right now I'm going to talk about the federal codes. And you start out with a title and a section. Here we're going to talk about Title 26 again. It's one of my favorites. The tax code. Title 26. And then the section of that title, 7701, in where it's definitions. And in that list of definitions, as in any other code, you're going to have a section within that section, and then you're going to have a subsection, and then you're going to have a part, and then you're going to have subparts. And they're all denoted differently. And again, if you look in the text of the post here, you'll see that the first part, or first section, is described or symbolized, categorized, columnized. They run in columns. As you go down the page, you'll see a column here, and then inset deeper will be another column, and then inset deeper will be another column, and that's your section, subsection, part, subpart. And that's the way it operates. And so in the Title 26 code, we're going to talk about a certain section that says the owner or the lessee agrees that they're not treated as the owner for taxation purposes. Okay? And in order to find that section, we look at 26 U.S.C. 7701, Section H, Subsection 2, Part A, which is capital A, and then subsection or subpart II. And the way we see this, and again, look at the text in the post, you'll see the first section is denoted or symbolized, columnized, categorized, classified, however you want to put it, with lower case letters. And then the next subsections are located and denoted by the English numerical system, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then your parts are denoted by capital letters, and then your subparts are denoted by Roman numerals. So you have your first section, your subsections, your first parts of those subsections, and then your subparts of those parts of subsections of sections. So it's all, again, it's all mathematical, runs in order. So when we're looking for these codes, when you see a source and it says 26 section 7701 and then parenthesis A, unparenthesis, parenthesis 2, or excuse me, H, and then 2, and then unparenthesis, parenthesis A, or let's see, in this one it's C, and then subpart II. So you got H, 2, A, II. All of those separately in parentheses. That's going to tell you go to Title 26 of the United States Code, Section 7701. Click on that. It'll bring you to the page of definitions. And then you got to go all the way down. And that's a long page. And this is where people have problems doing this research. They're not understanding how the sections, subsections, parts, and subparts work. And so they have a hard time locating them because they have so many different H's in subparts and Roman numerals. You got to follow it in order. And this is what I suggest. It's not going to work on your smaller devices like cell phones and stuff. But if you're on a laptop or a desktop, go ahead and get some pieces of string. Long pieces of string that will go from the top of your monitor to the bottom. And when you pull up a page, tape one to that first column, top to bottom, so you can follow that column all the way up and down. And then discern from there what column inward. Use 2 or 3, 4 different pieces of thread if you need to keep track of each column. That way on these long sections you can go all the way down to the bottom and still follow whether you're in a section, a subsection, a part, or a subpart. It's going to help you a lot tremendously in your research, knowing this. Knowing that it's just like any code, it has its mathematical values. So now when we talk about the state statutes, again, they're going to be different. Each state can set up their own system. And so we have like the Iowa State statutes, or I think they call it the Iowa State Administrative Code Revised. Whereas Minnesota might be different. It might be Minnesota Annotated Rules Revised or something like that. They can call them different things. But when it comes down to it, I want people to comprehend all of these state statutes are contracts, and therefore any time a court takes action against us with support of a statute, trying to seek that economic substance, they're involved in a contractual situation, and therefore they've already lost their sovereign immunities, and therefore automatically they have to abide by federal regulations, period. And it's all done for taxation purposes. Every last bit of it. So, like I spoke about in my last video, if you're not involved in a recognized transaction for taxation purposes, then they have no business intervening, period. So think about this stuff, and if you have any problems with your research, feel free to ask me. I can help you out. I don't think I'm too bad at that. I've gotten pretty good, and it's a great help when you're trying to run information down and verify it. You need to be able to locate it. Instead of coming onto somebody's post and say, well, that's a lie because I can't find it. Just because you can't find it doesn't mean everybody else is lying. You've got to learn how to do the research. You can't just look and say, well, I didn't see it, so it's not there, so therefore you're lying. That's part of the distraction and divisional tactics that we have to get over and realize that we are erroneous people. We do make mistakes, and that's why we always do research. Because if we didn't find it the first time we searched, then we maybe should research again. So think about this stuff and realize a lot of it depends on your own efforts in doing this stuff, and having the capabilities of putting a puzzle together by finding its parts. So again, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be doing this. So God bless, have a great day, and really think about this stuff, people. Really think about it. Bye-bye.